Namaskar, pranams, and good morning to everyone. Respected guest of honor, beloved founder of Prajasetu, my dear colleagues, and the members of the organization. I want to start with the quote of Paulo Coelho. Universe conspires you to achieve something that you want strongly. I strongly advocate that, and I believe this specific occasion is one such event. In this auspicious event, we have with us our honorable guest, Shri Anil Swarup IAS. He has authored books, namely Ethical Dilemmas of a Civil Servant, Not Just a Civil Servant, No More a Civil Servant, and Encounters with Politicians, where he has poured his experiences for generations to come and humanity on a whole. The veteran bureaucrat with 38 years of experience calls the Indian Administrative Services as the only service in the world where one can reach out to the large number of helpless people. Numbers which one can't think of in any other profession or anywhere else in the world. His words of wisdom goes to the point that basic fundamentals of the public sector and the private sector are the same, and both should be in harmony towards the progress of the society and the nation on the whole. The man of action, the recipient of the director's gold medal for the best officer trainee in 1981 batch at Labasna, the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration. He was also a gold medalist for being a best all-rounder student in Allahabad University. Man of action, by the way, is not a made-up term. He became the secretary in the Ministry of Coal at the time where the Supreme Court of India cancelled more than 200 block of allocated mines for allocated mines for auction since 1993. He successfully conducted the coal auctions in a transparent manner. He suggests that the civil servants should not have expectations from the process or the politicians. Rather, they should try to make an impact in the individual capacity in however small way they can. With that esteemed notion, even post retirement, currently, he is running a movement, namely the Nexus of the Good Foundation. The movement is for connecting goodness, spreading hope, mercy, wisdom, and kindness through positive action. I submit my humble thanks to the universe for this opportunity, and I wholeheartedly welcome our beloved guest of honor on behalf of our organization Prajasetu. I may now proceed to explain more about our founder ma'am, to our beloved guest of honor. With your permission. So, knowledge will give confidence is a primary aphorism of our organization as well as the founder. Our beloved founder ma'am, Srimati Karamasetu, started her career as a communications and etiquette trainer in corporates. Eventually, she became a mentor teacher who trains aspirants for the Indian Civil Services examination. She is fundamentally a finance and a business development strategist who was associated with Vinik Builders and Developers Private Limited as the Chief Executive Officer. Presently, she is the Vice President of 360 Group of Companies and the Director of 360 Foundation. One of the parallels of the organization, the 360 Flying Club, facilitated the team grades consisting of the group of 4 girls from the government schools under the aegis of Adi Dravidar Welfare Board ADWB, where the team won the prestigious National Aero Modeling Competition in the South Zone conducted by Boeing and IITM. She strongly believes in and advocates the idea of giving back to the nation. To give shape to this belief, she established a social organization Prakriti to extend her mentorship to the visually challenged candidates who are preparing for the UPSC examination, which has now currently evolved as Prajasi, scaling up her services to other vertices of the society. Our founder, ma'am, was humbled to be felicitated by the Queen Mary's Technical Institute, Pune, for conducting a workshop to enlighten the differently abled soldiers of our Indian Army about the civil services examination. Concurrently, she is the co-founder of the Niti Varta, a budding public policy research institute. Alongside this, she is an active member of the United Nations Federations for Climate Change Cooperation UNFCCC, Youth Constituency Yongo, India's Earth Day Network, and the Global Youth Coalition. She has also concurrently volunteered and became an inspiring force in the online coordination of the relief works in Chennai floods 2023 and South Tamil Nadu rains and floods 2023. Our founder was awarded with the Nambike Nayagar, which translates Hero of Hope Award from the Tamil Nadu Volunteers, which is under the aegis of Tamil Nadu government. Currently, she holds a position on the board of the Social Welfare Forum Tamil Nadu Volunteers. She had the opportunity to represent our nation, India, at COP28 United Arab Emirates as a youth international delegate at a conference organized by the government of Chad for promoting indigenousness to attain the sustainable development goals. One of the notable achievement is that her policy review on water infrastructure of India, focusing on Jal Jeevan mission, was presented in the National Youth Conclave conducted by the Y20 and the U20 for the G20 in the last year. The vision of our beloved founder, Ma'am, via Prajasetu is that we envision a world where every individual, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to demonstrate their talent, therefore leading a dignified and a fulfilled life. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sankarshna. Thank you, Anil Swarup sir, for coming here. I would like to introduce you to Prajasetu and the Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest. Thank you so much. I'll take this opportunity before handing over the mic to you, sir. The role bestowed on me today is to introduce to our beloved guest of honor the Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest and Prajasetu. As we all know, elections in India is a pan-India festival of democracy. It brings our country together and provides a sense of belongingness to the nation. We become successful only when the same feeling is percolated to even the last man in the queue. For this to happen, there has to be a good amount of turnout, and people should be able to make well-informed decisions in the election. Therefore, creating awareness and motivating the young voters and citizens of our country becomes very, very vital and important. This is exactly what we planned and are planning to achieve through the Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest. Hence, we decided to dwell upon the aspects of inclusion and accessibility of elections in India. Our brainstorming ended up with understanding the issues faced by various sections of people like army personnel, persons of defense, transgenders, aged people, migrant workers, students, NRIs, so on and so forth. The election process and we also proposed some solutions to the relevant concerns. We have conducted multiple webinars. Some to quote here is Youth Shaping Global Elections, where we had youth from various countries speaking about elections, democratic process in Kashmir, women's role, participants of defense personnel, and participation of transgender persons, electoral reforms, and so on and so forth. With the help of the vast amount of experience and understanding, we have created a report depicting the findings of issues and solutions proposed. And we have some solution proposed, which I would like to press here. One is a virtual constituency for soldiers by nominating a member of the security apparatus to the Rajya Sabha, reservation to transgenders for representation, and making voting a mandate in India. In this process, I've also penned down and authored a book, Why Vote? My exploration of India's electoral process. And I believe that it shall also serve as an electoral manual. Finally, I would like to mention a few words regarding Prajasetu. It's a not-for-profit, a women-led youth initiative. It is an organization by the youth for our nation. We have some initiatives which are very prominent. It is Project Prakriti, which trains visually challenged fraternity for UPSC Civil Services examination. Niti Varta, a public policy research institute, Prajavani, and a podcast. It is a blogging platform to foster writing habits and promotion of Indian languages, and also Prajavani podcast, with Prajakalam as the blog spot, speaks on careers and various other topics of concern and which would serve information to the public and citizens as a whole. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Very good morning to all of you, and what a pleasure it is to be amidst you all. I must compliment you at the very outset for the initiative that you've taken. I think exercising the right to vote is something which is usually assumed that everyone would vote. But if you look at the evidence of it, not more than 60% on an average vote in every election. I mean, it varies from 80-85% to 25-30%, but on an average, it's around 60%, which is indeed a pity, because that is one way of expressing your authority, one way of expressing your political opinion. And 40% of those that can and should express their opinion or views do not do that. Now, in order to correct that, you have to look at the cause of it. Why is it not happening? Because I've always believed that in order to find a solution to a problem, and this indeed is a problem, we have to look at a why of it. And I'm so glad, going through some of the literature that was sent to me by Kritika, I could make out that most of the issues have been actually highlighted, and I'd like to touch upon a couple of them. My understanding is that the reason why 40% or more people don't vote is either on account of inaccessibility or inaffordability or just pure indifference. And when you look at all these three aspects, then the instruments to be used to persuade them to vote would be different. So a person who's unable to afford it, can we make it affordable? Because he has to spend money to go somewhere and vote, not to give it to somebody. It becomes unaffordable for him to travel to a place where he has to vote. The other is inaccessibility. He may be able to afford it, but he doesn't have the opportunity, like the persons that you mentioned, the people from the army or those are posted in interior areas. They may perhaps be able to afford to go to a poll booth, but they don't have the opportunity. But I think the biggest problem is about indifference. Whereas there could be a combination of indifference and inaccessibility. Inaccessibility itself may lead to indifference, or indifference may also lead to inaccessibility. So there could be a relationship between all these three that I mentioned. But I think the solutions that have been suggested are very valid solutions. Let me touch upon one such solution that you mentioned, and I think that is probably the way forward in the future, and that is what the Election Commission is also looking at. We've been using technology for a variety of purposes. We trust the technology for transacting our financial business. We trust it. We transfer money through our telephones. So we trust that system. If the electoral process also can become equally trustworthy, then probably we can have remote voting. Why not? Once we have internet connectivity in the country, once we have the assurance that the person who has to vote is voting, and that can be done through Aadhaar, because through biometric identification, it can be ensured that the person who's voting is the person who ought to vote, so that nobody else votes in his place. So technologically, I would believe that it is quite possible to switch over from actual physical presence at a poll booth to cast one votes to a remote casting a vote. Now, this may sound very far-fetched, because even in advanced countries like the US, even the electronic voting machine is not used. They still use paper. India has advanced much further in at least starting to use the electronic voting machine. So that's a step forward. The question now is, how do we enable remote voting? If that can be done, then my hunch is that the percentage of voting will go substantially, because a lot of people, I mean, I can tell you about myself. If there is a polling early in the morning on this wintry day, I would think twice to drive down to maybe a long distance, because if I am not enrolled in a poll booth close by, then I'll have to go somewhere. And one feels reluctant to go there, no matter how committed you are towards Indian democracy. There is that inherent reluctance that comes in because of the inconvenience of traveling all that distance. Now, I'm not saying one should not travel, one should travel distance and cast one votes, but can we make voting convenient? And that comes out beautifully in the book that Kritika has written. And not only that, there are other aspects that have been highlighted on how to increase the voting percentage. However, to me, democracy is not merely defined by the when we vote. It does. It's an important aspect of democracy. But to me, democracy is much beyond just voting. Democracy happens every day, every moment. It doesn't happen only when we go down to vote. As I said earlier, it's a very, very important aspect of democracy. But democracy means many, many more things. Your ability to express your views, your right to be heard. These are aspects. The freedom of speech. Now, right to vote is a freedom of expression, but there is also freedom of speech. What about freedom of expression between 5 years when the voting happens? So all these aspects are equally important. And I'm sure that the NGO that Kritika has set up will look at the other aspects of democracy as well. Voting, there's so many people who are bothered. Election Commission runs innumerous campaigns to demonstrate, illustrate, and attract people to voting booths. They are doing their job. The job of other organizations like yours, the NGOs that yours, are also to inform people about the importance of voting. I'm not very sure that people are not very, they don't understand the importance. They do understand the importance. Whoever I have spoken to appreciates the fact that he should vote, but the inconvenience of voting sometimes inhibits their movement to the polling booth and casting the vote. And that is where, as we discussed earlier, we'll have to discuss and see how technology can be used for remote voting purposes. You have talked about reservation for army men and for the third gender representation in the parliament. I think that's a very small segment of the component of democracy that we talk. Reservations have had their role. You by having, say, a couple or three more army men in Rajya Sabha, I don't think our democratic culture will get substantially strengthened. So I would suggest to you that these aspects may be discussed, but I think primacy has to be given to the first aspect that we discussed in terms of enabling people to vote as much as they can. As I said right in the beginning, I think 60% is quite pathetic. It has to improve. What we have to study and examine is, why is it that some states like Tripura, like northeastern states, the voting percentage is pretty high? And why is it not so high in some states? This sort of an analysis will help us understand further the cause or the inability of the people to come and vote, or their inclination not to vote, because it is not uniform through the country. Some parts of the country vote in big numbers, some other part of the country they don't. And it's quite a consistent thing, irrespective of the political environment at that point in time. So these aspects also need to be examined. I will touch upon a subject which is not a topic here, but which your NGO is doing with regard to uh, uh, guiding budding civil servants to get into civil service. I think that aspect is very close to me. I think I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing, because we do need the brightest of people in the country to join the civil service. And if you can guide them on how to get into civil service, it would be a great service to the nation as a whole. I have always believed that it is not as much coaching as guidance that helps students. Because if you want to teach something at this stage to get into civil service, my hunch is that they won't make it. They must have the basic material in them. And that you can't create in a year's time. What you have to do is to tell them which books, how to read, what to read, how to improve other soft skills to get into civil service exam. And I hope your NGO looks at that. So I'm very glad that you are doing what you're doing. All the best to you. And whatever little I can contribute in whatever time, I shall be available to you. You'll have to give me some notice, but I'd like to join in such conversations, which I think helpful for the country. God bless you and take care.
Thank you so much for being with us, sir. Thank you for taking out time to read the literature that we provided. It is a whopping 40 plus another 40, 80 page of literature. Thank you so much for rationing out so much of times. And every single thing that you said means a lot to us. And when it comes to calling out the citizens to come and cast their vote, in this journey of 2 months, 3 months now, uh, I have spoken to n number of people from various walks of life. Being a commoner, one thing exactly what I will definitely agree to you more than 100% is the inaccessibility, which converts into indifference. Either it is far away, or the paper procedure to change the constituency to the place they are. Giving my own example to you, I come from Pune. Like my voting rights are in Pune, and then now I am in Madhya Pradesh. It takes a lot of time to shift it here. So again, likewise for a lot of people who migrate for work, be it government servants, also for that matter, or defense personnel for that matter, IT professional, young youth who go to other cities to pursue education. So with that, the vote also travels, and then it never comes back. That is what I have noted. And even if it comes back in the form of postal ballot, there are a lot of issues in it. One, it is the information that you get. You have to be now at least the behavior is that we rely on another source to ask who the right person is to vote. In case of postal ballot, for that matter. And in this conversation, I would like to cite an incident given by Colonel Vasant Balevar. Yeah, he shared an incident in the army that happens, like they have to call some relative or their big brother or someone in the family in their constituency and ask who's the right person, and then 100% sure that it is a biased information that comes, because it is voting is personal, it is private, and then when the another person involves, then it becomes a biased decision. So information also comes biased. That is one thing. And next is about the sense of indifference is, as we say, kya hi ho jayega, that kind of thought process. And then you get a paid holiday on voting, and now people would these are all actual derivatives from this research and survey that we have come up. Is we are given a holiday, either we chill or go out somewhere, or take care of some other important work that we had procrastinated, kept it somewhere else. Let's get that done today. Voting comes in the last preference. I would like to press upon telling there has been history where changes have happened for one vote. And likewise, when it comes to pulling back myself to the ballot vote again, either it reaches back late after casting, you send it reaches back late. Recently, Gujarat election also faced an issue. I mean, few years back, I've included all these aspects in the report and the book, citing case studies and what all happened, just to press how important is to vote and to take a informed decision to cast your vote. These two things. And thankfully, sir, when you said about the Northeast, we have included, we just coined it the Mizoram model for convenience. How beautifully do they operate the complete electoral system as citizens and participant in the stakeholders, incurring minimal cost, and then the participation also is high. The voter turnout is also high. I would love to see that happening pan India, and then we take this learning globally. We can impart this to the internationally to various countries. So that one small model, it is inside India, it is ours, and why not it take a larger scale to reach every other corner of India's. It's a dream for me, and I wish to see that dream come true. Another thing importantly I thought of is, why not make voting mandatory? I understand that we as citizens have a right to say no to, I don't want to do it. Just go and press the nota. You already have an option there, but just go show up. It's your voice through a machine. And then I was interviewed in a FM station here locally in Singrauli. So he asked, the host asked me, Madam, what is a vote according to you? I said it's a transfer of power. Not all crores of citizens can sit there and make decision. You choose the right person. I give you my power. Collectively, we give a power to one person, and then he transferred. It keeps transferring. So in Singrauli, if we speak about electricity, then the thing understands easily because of the power capital of the nation. So I said you transfer power just like the electricity goes, and then reaches the right person, and then the nation's machinery runs smoothly. So it matters a lot because it's not about one day. The one day amplifies into 5 years, and then in the 5 years there are n number of contracts and legalities signed which decides the coming 10, 15, 25 years. It's a long run, and one you spare one day and another few couple of hours to research on who are you casting your vote, changes the idea of the nation in a different sense altogether. And as you rightly said, sir, democracy is there everywhere, every day, and it keeps evolving every day. And I think it's time that we update this version of democracy and go ahead and come up with another updated version. And soon to see 100% voter turnout is my vision, my aim, my dream. And when it is mine, it's the organizations, and I hope it's the nation's dream someday. And it should come true very, very soon, is what I believe, sir. Thank you
I
for
have
allowing me
just
to speak.
one difference of opinion with you.
Thank
I
you. Go ahead.
do not want anything to be mandated because that itself will be undemocratic.
Okay.
Democracy means choice. It also
Choice.
means a choice for me not to vote.
Okay.
I mean, that's a choice. And that if you take away that choice, then it's not democratic as far as I'm concerned. However, we can persuade, we can run campaigns. There's so much power in persuasion. And that is why I said, let us try and understand why is a massive high percentage in some parts of the country and others in other places it is not so. And it is on the basis of that you can work out a campaign. Can we make it more convenient for them? Can we make the whole process less cumbersome? The process is pretty cumbersome. Can we make it less cumbersome? So once that happens, I think the percentage will improve. But I would not advocate mandating it ever.
I understand. I understand. That comes with a lot of experience and wisdom. We are young people, very young minds, raw minds. So our adrenaline rushes at a different level altogether. So we want it done now. It's like that. So I take all your words with complete acceptance, and thank you so much, sir. I would also apologize if I go wrong somewhere. It's because of the zeal that to see this nation grow, somehow become big, strong.
No, you're
And
not wrong. That it will be undemocratic of me to call you wrong. Democracy means difference of opinion.
yeah,
Democracy means discussion. If I mandate that you should only say what I have to say and what I agree with it, that's again undemocratic. So that's why I keep saying that mandates are not democratic in nature, so to say.
right.
Mandates are pretty undemocratic until they deal with law and order, national security. There we can have mandates. But apart from that, in discussions and choices, I don't think there would be mandates. So there should be open discussion. There should be difference of opinion. And it is through that you build consensus. That's the beauty of democracy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for enlightening again. And it takes immense pride for me to release this book and report today. In a couple of hours, I'll have the link on for Amazon's pre-booking. I'd request everybody to show some love and support by ordering this book, and this report will be uh, openly available on social media platform on LinkedIn and Twitter, I mean X, for everybody's reference and reading. And I request people's feedback so that, since in Prajasetu we believe on picking up themes and then working rather than on working on 10 things at the same time, that's when the results come out well. So likewise, the next theme for us is we are focusing on addiction, and the reports, feedbacks and reviews on Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest will add immense value to us to make an impact and create change in the forthcoming theme, and then more to go in the future. Uh, Thank you so much. And if we can pull this, I have one question from a participant, Balasubramaniam Malayappan. He says, thanks, Dr. Anil Swarup, for your insights on right to vote and as being freedom of expression. What, according to you, are the important ways for strengthening democracy beyond casting the vote? Is the question.
To me, institutions that sustain democracy need to be protected. I see a lot of threat to such institutions today, whether it is the judiciary, whether it is the media. These are important institutions, whether it is election commission itself. These institutions are under phenomenal threat at this point in time. And if they feel threatened, and they are threatened, then democracy will be in danger. Because election commission conducts elections. And if the general feeling is that the objectivity with which election commission should conduct elections is not happening, then democracy will be under threat. If the general perception about judiciary is that the judgments that are coming in, everyone can have a view on that, are biased on account of the benefits that accrue to the judges post-retirement, then democracy is under threat. These are institutions that sustain democracy, and they need to be sustained. And it's important to ensure that these institutions are safe. So that is one part of it. That is safeguarding institutions that sustain Indian democracy. Parliament is a very important instrument of democracy. If Parliament is either sidelined or bills are rushed through, then that institution is also under threat. So threat to institutions is something we should be marked. Second, I mentioned about media. Media is the fourth pillar of democracy. If the media, the perception about media becomes that it has become totally aligned to a particular political party, then there is trouble for democracy. Then if people who speak out, who are not allowed to speak in the manner they should by some instrument or the other of the state, then democracy stands threatened. So freedom of speech, freedom of movement, these are critical aspects of democracy. If people are not allowed to speak in the name of something or the other, then democracy cannot sustain. Differences of opinion are essential ingredients of democracy. If differences of opinion are treated as dissent and dissent is treated as anti-national, then there is trouble. If there is massive amount of communal disharmony, and if politics is run through ensuring or promoting communal dissensions, then democracy will be threatened. So there's so many other things that can be said about it, but I think these are some of the major aspects that need to be taken care of if democracy has to sustain in this country.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I have a question for you, and also seek your suggestion and advice. And that also is a question from Balasubramaniam again. There is an addition to it, is your advice to the commoners. How do they participate in strengthening this? How do they make elections a success? How do they safeguard such institutions? Because when you as a citizen of India are taking so much from the nation, you should give back. And how do you do it?
You know, I have often said that everyone talks about the nation and the society. These are big things. We could talk and get away with it. I've always said, focus on yourself. What can you do about it? What the old man and the Mahatma said, be the change you wish to see in the world. So start with yourself. Do the best that you can to become a good citizen of the country. And what are the attributes of a good citizen of a country? Let's try and look at some of these attributes and see and judge ourselves on the basis of those attributes, whether I am doing what I ought to do to be a good citizen instead of bothering too much about the nation, the society, and everybody else. So what do? Of course, ensure that you vote. That's the first responsibility, if not a mandate for a citizen. A responsible citizen should go out and vote. Number two, make your point wherever you can and whenever you can, without fear or favor, because that's in a sense of democracy. Evolve as an individual to be reckoned in. Contribute to the society in a positive manner. Whereas it is important to criticize what is going wrong, have the courage to appreciate the good work happening around you so that goodness can grow. I mean, I started a movement called Nexus of Good with the primary aim of promoting goodness, with the primary aim of making people believe that good can happen because good is happening. Unfortunately, we are prone to more criticism than anything else. So if we start appreciating good work, then probably it will encourage others to do good work. So goodness will perhaps grow. So that is what a citizen needs to do. And then finally, do the best, whatever is tasked, what you're tasked for, instead of bothering about others. Indulge yourself in becoming a person who moves towards perfection, who tries, like Gurudev said, you have to stretch towards perfection, attempt to become perfect. You have to move towards that. You don't have to look at perfect set of circumstances, but you have to move towards that gradually, step by step, as is outlined in the Japanese concept of Kaizen. Step by step, move towards perfection. So evolve as an individual, become a better person, become more humane, speak out your mind. These are the attributes that a common citizen will need to develop. And then if he does that, he'll be contributing the best instead of telling others what they do. Because it's very easy. उम्र भर यही भूल करता रहा गालिब, धूल चेहरे पे थी, आईना मलता रहा. You can keep blaming somebody else for what is going wrong, but I think the focus has to be yourself. To my mind, that's the way forward.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So there is one more question on EVMs. Would you like to walk us through how beneficial EVM is a question by Rahul and Karthik together on the same thing. So two questions addressed.
EVMs are being questioned these days, though I still have not believed that there is need to question them, because I have, as district magistrate long ago, I had the occasion to see, and as observers for the Election Commission, I've seen it in the field. There can be certain improvements there in terms of VVPAT, but I think it's, to my mind, electronically to hack an EVM is very, very difficult. It's being talked about. I'm not convinced about it, but EVMs are the way forward. In fact, a step ahead would be something which you are mentioning, which Election Commission is also attempting, is remote casting a vote.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And I would like to present to all of you the cover page of the book and a quick glimpse of the report. You can read it on the other social media platforms. Sankarshna, I would request you to go ahead and share the screen.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I hope.
Yeah, your screen is visible. Thank you so much for doing this, Sankarshna. So, presenting to all of you and our respected guest of honor, Anil Swarup, the report, our brainchild of Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest and Praja Setu. We have named it the Nurturing the Roots of Indian Democracy, Praja Setu's Chronicle. The report is created by me and very strongly supported by Sankarshna and Hari Prasad. Thank you to both of them. Can you just take us to the page of contents and quickly scroll through the document once?
Yes. May I proceed?
You may, and if there is a need to stop anywhere, Anil sir, please let us know.
No,
We'll
I have gone through this document of
yours.
yours.
Sir. Yes.
And I must compliment you for structuring it so well.
Thank you so much.
Very well. I think the arguments that you've presented, the recommendations are very well structured. I hope somebody listens to it, reads it, and implements some of it, if not all of it.
Thank you so much, sir. This means a lot to us. Sankarshna, please scroll ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
It is here, in this, when I went to the executive summary, that's where I discovered that whereas the focus is on the electoral process.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain recommendations with regard to reservation. So these
Yes,
are
sir.
two different sets of things, absolutely. When you talk in terms of improving participation in democratic process,
Mm-hmm.
I think the primary focus, as you rightly put, should be on exercising your right to vote,
Correct.
rather than giving reservation to certain categories which you feel are not represented in the parliament, because that opens a new gate altogether.
Correct. It
All are
does.
not represented. To what extent they should be given representation? There's been all talk about women's reservation,
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
and we've had those bills, and suddenly we discover it can't be implemented before next 10 years. So we have our own way of not doing things which ought to have been done. But that's an area where there could be controversies. But
Mm-hmm.
what you said otherwise, with regard to improving the number of people voting, that I don't think anyone will question that. And that is something which can be done, should be done, probably will be done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Because with this, I try to address one more thing in concurrences. If we are talking about the exercising voting, also somehow some verticals of the society, I could just name one or two here, but in future I would like to take this forward, and they should also be given enough representation so that they also come up as uh, good vote banks, frankly speaking. So the voter turnout also increases eventually high. This was the idea behind it, but I
I am
take your
not very
suggestion.
sure whether by giving a reservation the vote percentage will increase.
Probably a
I'm,
welfare.
I'm not very sure.
Mm-hmm.
And if at all,
Mm-hmm.
considering the percentage of their presence, it
Mm-hmm.
will hardly have any impact on the overall increase in the percentage of votes.
Okay.
So I am not very sure whether that's the right way of increasing the number of voting.
Okay. All right. I understand. Okay. Just scroll ahead, Sankrishna, please.
You have to look at this aspect. Are the army men or the transgenders not voting because there's a
Mm.
reservation for them? I'm
No,
not
no.
very sure.
It's
I'm
not
not very
because of
sure.
this.
So
No, no.
if that is not the why of their not participation, how
They are
can the
why.
solution that you suggest would be a solution for increasing the number of participants?
Uh,
If that were the reason, then one can understand that by
mhm.
giving them reservation, their participation will increase. If that, to my mind, army men not voting in adequate numbers, there's a totally different reason altogether.
Yes, sir.
And having their representation in Rajya Sabha will have absolutely no impact in the numbers.
Right,
So
sir.
is the case with transgenders. How does
Right.
the nomination in Rajya Sabha improve voting for members to be elected to Lok Sabha?
Yes, I understand. Uh, this is only one small suggestion that I gave, but others otherwise are addressed. One is inaccessibility or indifference, and
No,
then
that
procuring
absolutely is fine. I totally agree
documents.
with you. I
Yes,
see
sir.
a bit of digression in those recommendations. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Otherwise, your report is very focused
Yes, sir.
on how to increase. But I see a disconnect between this recommendation
Yes, sir.
and your basic approach that you adopted in your entire book.
Yes, I understand, sir.
So there again, remote voting could actually help.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Remote voting. Uh, Finally, we boil down to that place where we have to integrate technology here and make remote voting possible soon.
No, it may not be that difficult. Once I read your paper, I started thinking about it. I think if it can be somehow linked to Aadhaar, which they are attempting to,
Yes, sir.
then you can actually dispense with other papers and all, because it provides a clear identity, biometric identity, and then voting can be done through that.
Yes, sir. That was the core idea actually, to link Aadhaar and then bring in blockchain technology, make it something happen as equivalent as UPI. And if I once said, so like if anything is successful in India, I think it can be successful anywhere in the world, is what I believe.
Mhm.
Because of the diversity in
Yes,
every aspect, be
yes,
it population, geography,
yes,
anything.
yes.
Let's hope that this reaches the right ears and hands. Thank you. Sankash, go ahead.
Yeah, we have reached the end of the report.
Thank you so much, Sankashna. Quickly, if you can show us the cover page of the book.
Yes, ma'am. Happily.
Thank you. And then a quick scroll. Thank you. Thank you, Sankashna. Just pull us directly to the back cover and then,
Yeah, ma'am.
yeah. Thank you, Sankashna. Thank you for doing the honors.
Yeah. Can I stop sharing?
Yes, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you for allowing us to present it in front of you. And this shall remain very close to my heart. And this moment is very, very special for me. Thank you for doing this, bestowing this honor upon us, upon me. Thank you. Thank you for doing this, sir. With this, we come to the conclusion of today's event, the Ensuing of Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest. allow me to thank my team, my family, and then we'll have vote of honor pressed by Shanbagam Selvi, and then we can wind up for today. With due permission, so may I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest. It has been a journey that kept extending. It has more to come, and today we might ensue this fest. But as it is commonly said, the hosting family still has long hours of work. Elections have fascinated me in a young age, and I wanted to have my inked finger. And as a child, I would ask every person I met, किसको vote किया? As if I understood everything. And then the answer would be a cliche one, okay? जो party जीतेगी उसी को मैंने vote किया. So it was a fun thing for me, but eventually that left a delible mark in my mind. And the first thought that came when I could understand is if everyone voted the winning party, then how was the other party getting so many votes as well? What is the math behind it? And so on and so forth. And the little brain kept thinking. And as per the law of nature, matters unfold all in good times. And then Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest started. It started in the end of October and officially on the 1st of November. Today, I take this moment to congratulate every participant in making this event a grand success. Firstly, I register my sincere gratitude to my team, family, and friends. To my father, Hariharan, he must be proud from the heavens. My mother, Rajeshwari, my constant source of motivation, my support, my husband, Ramasetu, and my beloved mama, Ramesh Shayer, my father-in-law, Balasubramaniam. They both have stood behind me constantly. My mother-in-law's soul must be smiling bright from the heaven. And a family of this kind is given to the most blessed person on earth, and I'm humbled to be the most blessed person on earth and having this virtue. To my extended family, my team of Praja Setu and friends, we are all one. These are many names to the same group of people. Sankarshna, my brother, Hari, Bristow, Shenbagamaka, Vaibhav, Gautam, Praveen, Suresh Kumar, Dr. Amit Kumar Gupta, Team Niti Varta, and Team 360 group of companies. And I said, any success never comes with an I standing alone. For an I to stand tall and shine bright, we always need a we to support strong back. And my team, my family is my we. And thank you all for being my we. I would like to say, give a quote by Henry Ford here. If everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. And today is the testament of it. Thank you so, so much. I take this opportunity to thank our beloved and respected guest of honor, Anil Swarup sir. Thank you for being there, for supporting these young minds in what they are doing and believing in our ideas and validating that we are going on the right path. This moment is emotional, yet means a lot. And the first step that we have taken, it gives me happiness and contentment that it's a successful, strong step that we have registered and way to go, a long path to walk. And with Anil Swarup sir's guidance and wisdom, we'll be able to do it really very well. Thank you so much, sir.
God bless you. Take care. All the best.
Thank
Namaskar.
you. Namaskar. Presenting to you Shenbagam
Yes.
Selvi for the vote of thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Respected guest, Anil Swarup sir, my colleagues and participants, and all the wonderful individuals who have gathered here today. Greetings to all of you. It gives me great pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks to the Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest ensuing event. To the dignitaries assembled here, it is with immense gratitude and joy that I speak before you to express my and our heartfelt thanks on behalf of Praja Setu for the successful culmination of the Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest. This event has celebrated democracy, knowledge, and civil engagement, and we are truly honored to have been a part of this incredible journey. First and foremost, our deepest gratitude goes to the honorable guest who has graced this occasion with his presence. Your insights, wisdom, and support have added immense value to this event, sir. Enriching and experiences of everyone present here. I would like to express my gratitude and thanks to our guest of honor, Shri Anil Swarup sir, a retired IAS officer, facilitated this event with his inspirational thoughts. Your enthusiasm and commitment to understanding and promoting electoral literacy are highly commendable, sir. Through your active participation, the Fest has achieved its purpose of fostering awareness and empowering citizens with the knowledge they need to make informed decisions. My heartfelt thanks to our beloved founder of Praja Setu, Srimati Kritika Ram Setu, for her valuable contributions, efforts, and encouragements in this Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest event. This event's success is a testament to your efforts and your collective responsibility and collective efforts. As we conclude this Bharat Electoral Literacy Fest, let us carry the spirit of democratic engagement forward. Let the knowledge gained here be a catalyst for positive change in our society. Together, let us continue to build a nation where every citizen is empowered, informed, and actively participate in shaping the future together. Thank you once again to everyone who contributed to the success of this event. May our collective efforts continue to shine a light on the path of informed citizenship and robust democracy. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. All the best. Take
Thank
care.
you so much, sir.
Right. Thank you.